Hello, my friends. JR Dukes here with JRDukes.com. Appreciate you joining me today. Did you get a chance to watch the second presidential debate? Well, if you didn't, don't worry. A lot of people did not watch it. A lot of people are already focusing on what they know is the inevitable truth. And the inevitable truth is this election, as far as the Republicans are concerned, is over. Donald Trump clearly is going to be the party's nominee. And I have been calling for some time to stop any further debates. If you've been watching my previous video, you would notice that I have went into that some time ago. At any rate, more and more prominent Republicans are definitely coming forward and saying the obvious. This election season, as far as the primaries for the Republicans, is over. And we need to go ahead and all rally around Donald Trump and let's help him out. We're going to get right into it right now. If you don't mind, hit that like button, push the subscription, help me out, watch the video to the end. I do appreciate it as I'm trying to build this channel. So without further ado, we are going to get right into it.
Oh, okay. The plutocrats, they're throwing a Hail Mary. Well, I think they're seeing that Trump is still way ahead in every single poll. Big donors are now freaking out and are trying to draft Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin into the presidential race. According to Robert Costa, that well-known conservative at the Washington Post, the plan is to push, if not shove, Youngkin into it during what they're calling the Red Vest Retreat in mid-October.
Would you rule this out?
Would I rule out
Jumping into the race?
Yeah, I've told you, I'm totally focused on Virginia elections. The whole state has flipped. It's working. And this is a case study for what can be done in other states.
Joining me now, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. He's also a Fox News contributor. Mr. Speaker, billionaire Tomas Peterfy told the Washington Post that the money is there if Youngkin wanted to get in. What nonsense is this at this point? I mean, talk about doing an end run around the people, Newt. They don't want what the people want, the big donors. They just want to control everything, I guess.
Look, I suspect the money is there, but the votes aren't. I'm a big fan of Glenn Youngkin. I think he's doing a great job as governor. I think in 2028, he could be a very impressive, maybe even front.
I agree with Newt on this particular issue. I like Youngkin myself. He sounds like a very intelligent, bright, charismatic leader, but this is not the time. His time might be somewhere down the line in the future, but not now.
For president, but not this time, not this year. He's correctly focusing on the legislative races in Virginia, where he has a real chance to make a difference. You know, I was talking to our mutual friend, the pollster Matt Towery, this afternoon, and Matt said to me, based on what he saw last night, this race is over. Donald Trump will be the nominee. They might as well quit having the various debates because they don't work. They're not helping anybody. And I think that's where we are. I think Trump will be the nominee. And the question now for everybody is, do you want to see Joe Biden reelected, or do you want to help Donald Trump? There's no middle ground here, I don't think, because you're either going to get Trump as president or you're going to get Biden, and Biden's reelection would be a disaster for the country.
But I think you quoted on my podcast today someone saying Trump now, after this last debate, is the reality, and defeating Biden is the necessity. So given those two, thoughts that the conservatives, I imagine most of them see now, I mean, now what? Are people going to start dropping out and endorsing Trump, or are they just going to hang out until Super Tuesday?
Well, I think the Republican National Committee should cancel the future debates and say, look, we recognize the objective fact that Trump will be the nominee. We want to work with him. And then the next big hurdle is a totally corrupt judicial system, which is trying every way it can to deny the American people the right to have the candidate that they're choosing. I mean, Trump, in some of these races, some of these polls, Trump is like 43 points ahead of the next person. 43 points.
Wow.
He's going to be the nominee. And I think it tells you how terrified the left is that they're doing everything they can legally because they can't do anything politically. Given the economy, given everything else that's going on, I think the odds are very high that Trump will win the general election, and they're going to do everything they can to stop that.
But Newt, what about my idea that I floated last night on Hannity's show, that if we're going to have any debate, why not a debate between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. I know they're doing the debate with Newsom, but to me that would be interesting. Maybe no moderator, just the two of them discussing maybe 3 or 4 big issues, because that would actually be fairly entertaining, and I think would maybe learn something.
Look, I think there were a number of smart people on stage last night. And I think that you're right. If they were in a setting where they could have a real conversation, they would be more interesting people. But it wouldn't help them. It would not help any of them get to be the nominee, because the fact is, very few people are going to watch. If I don't know what the numbers were last night, but they're going to be worse. If there is a third debate, it'll have virtually no viewership. It'll have no impact except in the news media. And so, I mean, I like Nikki Haley a lot. I think she's very smart and did a great job at the UN and a great job as governor. I think Ron DeSantis is an amazing governor and has been about as effective as you could be. And in other circumstances, I suspect he'd be the front runner. But we are where we are. Trump is not really a candidate. He is the leader of a national movement.
Amen.
And that's a totally different psychological and emotional relationship than candidacy. So I think the question now is, can we stop the Justice Department and the various legal assaults? And remember, they're not just attacking Trump. They're trying to block Robert F. Kennedy Jr. They're trying to block the no labels people. I mean, the Biden model is, if I can keep everybody off the ballot and I have no opponent, I'll probably win.
All right, we're going to call it right there. That's pretty well what I wanted to talk about. And I agree wholeheartedly with Newt. This is exactly what's going on. We need to go ahead and stop the debates. Basically, this last debate, I don't know if you tuned in and seen it or not, but it was a lot of yelling, a lot of people over-talking one another. Really, in my opinion, there was no takeaway. It was not really worth watching. The first debate was much better, much more entertaining. Basically, in the second debate, I didn't really see anything consequential. It definitely did not move the needle. My opinion is that it didn't change anybody's mind. We need to stop. There's a movement afoot, folks, a real movement. This is going to be bigger probably than even Ronald Reagan. I'm telling you, Donald Trump is on a mission. He's a man that's the head of a movement. We have to take back our country. We have to put a stop to this wokeness. Our way of life is truly, truly in jeopardy. This is not just some words or some kind of phrases that we're just throwing together here. This is real. This is true. And you have to take action. You have to educate yourself about what's going on. And we have to put a stop to it. You know, folks, it's really interesting to me. If somebody is raped, and not that rape's ever a good thing, but let's just say someone's raped behind a dumpster at night at a bar, you have people marching as far as the eye can see. The government taking away our rights over the last 60 years, and you hear nothing. You can't get people to do nothing. They won't even write a letter to their senator. So please, educate yourself about what's going on and make sure you vote and make sure your voice is heard. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, please, I want to read your comments. Put them in the comment section below. Good, bad, indifferent. Always like to hear from you. Always like to talk with you. So I want you to know this too. I really do appreciate you tuning into my channel. I love you all. I appreciate it. I feel the appreciation, love. I get emails all the time telling me so. Again, it's my pleasure to have an opportunity to talk with you. Coming to you once again from beautiful Zephyr Hills, Florida, I am JR Dukes.